Hi there, welcome back. Today you join me on my very first guided session of 2021 and I'm really excited about it. Fishing with me today is Jack Jago. You might be able to see him in the background there. You may recall last year I took Jack fishing, he wound in a 31-pound conger eel. Such a hell of a fish, a real fish of a lifetime in fact. Well, today we're hoping for something a little bit more simple than that, some good old thornback ray fishing. Now the channel is absolutely busting with these fish, there's loads of them out there. The sun is shining, let's hope the fish are biting. What I would also like to point out today is obviously the fact that I am filming whilst I'm running a guided session. Now, Jack has given me permission to do so. In fact, he was really enthusiastic about the whole idea. Let's just hope we can get a few of his fish on film today. So today Jack is tackled up with a couple of beach casting rods rated at casting 4 to 8 ounces. On the rods he's got a pair of fixed spool reels and they're carrying 18-pound mainline and a tapered shock leader. On the business end we've got a pulley rig. That's carrying hooks of around 5.0, 4.0 or 5.0 anyway, and they're baited with bluey and squid. And this is kind of my approach for catching rays here. They're not a difficult fish to catch, but often location can be key. And I'm pretty confident that today we're going to find some fish feeding here. Now we've got a bluey bait out fishing at range, and I've just noticed the tip is lifted up ever so slightly, and I'm wondering whether we've actually got a bite on that rod. Or did I imagine it? That's a bite. Right, so Jack has got a bite. And it is a typical ray kind of bite. We're just going to leave that for a moment or two. Jack's just said the problem is he's too impatient. He can see the rod ticking away here and he wants to pick it up and wind it in. I reckon we give it just a moment or two more and then we'll wind it in and see what we've got. Well, Jack's clearly got a fish on here, so it's time for me to go down and do my ghillie part and land it for him. I do love this part, it's the most exciting thing in guiding for me. Let's go and see what he's got.
Yeah, there's something on there.
Yeah, this really is the most exciting part of being a guide. When your client gets that first bite, exercise a little bit of patience before anything else. And then they strike into it and bang, there's a fish on. Right, I can see the shock leader already. Here comes the fish. What's it going to be? It's a little thornback ray. Well, fantastic fish to start the session off on. I'm going to carry this one up to the top to show it to Jack and then we'll get it back in the water. Absolutely cracking stuff. So Jack's asked me to give him a quick demonstration on how to use the T-bar. And as you can see, the hooks are quite well into this fish. What I'm going to do is just lay the ray on her back. Now the T-bar is a really effective way to remove a hook. You literally find the bend of the hook, use the weight of the fish, and there we go, there's the first hook out. Now, when you're using a pennel rig like this, it does pay to move the top hook away out of harm's way. And then all I'm going to do is slide the T-bar down to the bend of the hook. That's better. And again, using the weight of the fish, just like that. It's a very quick and easy thing to do, and it's minimum stress to the fish. But lovely little ray. We'll get her back in the water. I think what's important is that we all learn from experience. Now, when I first take someone out fishing for the very first time, I'll bait up their traces, I'll explain absolutely everything to them in that regard. But once they've been out with me a couple of times, or 2 or 3 times, I get them doing it themselves. And I feel that's really important. It's a skill that you learn. The only way you learn how to do it efficiently is to actually do it yourself. And with a bit of guidance, you know, you can soon master these basic principles of fishing. Okay, so Jack's also brought with him today some live peeler crab. Now, the crabs are a fantastic bait at this time of year, as I've said many times. So I've shown Jack how to go about preparing the crab and attaching it to the hooks. Let's see how he gets on himself now.
The moment of truth.
Gave Jack a brief demonstration earlier on. This is the first time he's actually used peeler crab for bait. Well, as I say, given him a quick demonstration, and he's managed to tie one up himself, and it looks pretty good, actually. Look at that, I could almost eat that myself.
I'll try it after you.
So for the duration of today's session, I've been explaining to Jack different things about fishing on this particular mark. They include the tide, which way is the tide running, how hard does it pull, how you can fish effectively into that tide, how the weather influences the venue. This is a huge factor in itself, the weather. It really is so important to get that right if you want successful fishing. We've discussed rigs, we've discussed different casting distances, where you're most likely to catch the fish you're targeting, and we've gone through a whole list of other things. And I actually think it's really important, regardless of what fish are actually caught on the day, that my clients are given the correct information to base their future fishing trips on. Well, Jack's just had a bite and he's winding in the close range rod. I wonder what this might be. Looks a little bit better, and the fact that it picked up a bait so close in, this could be a bass or a codling, so I've got to go. Well, Jack's saying it's better than the last fish, so God, it's so exciting when this is going on. It really is. Is there? Now what you might have to do then, Jack, is get over to the edge, just there. I don't think it's particularly big, and literally just winch it up the side. Is there a fish on there?
Yeah.
So Jack had a little bite, and he picked up the rod straight away, and there we go, little codling, took the crab bait fish down the side. There must be loads of these out there at the moment, but lovely to see. It's the future of our sport at the end of the day.
There he is.
So Jack's just putting his fish back, and it's something he actually wanted to do. Usually I put the fish back for the client, but I've got no qualms about Jack going down there. He's an experienced climber, so it shouldn't present any problems for him. Well, we're on the last cast of the session, and we thought earlier on that Jack had a bit of a bite, and it looks very much like he's got a fish on again. The boy's doing well today. So this is the point, as you've seen so far, that I'd usually be scrabbling off down the rocks to land the client's catch. But Jack is more than happy for me to film this, and above all else it gives him a bit of video footage to look back on in the future of the session today. And who doesn't like that? Plus the fact it's a bit of training for if Jack was to return here on his own and he'd have to land his own fish, he wouldn't have any other choice. This is a great bit of first-hand experience. But it's lovely for me because it's a really good example of the methods I teach being put into practice. And I think it's kind of crucial that the client sees this. No, I don't think this is actually a ray. I'm not going to... Oh, it's a little conger. Well, there we go. So I'm just going to leave Jack to his own devices on this one. He's more than capable. Only a small eel, so he can literally swing it to hand. Pretty much like that. Well done, Jack. Yeah, as Jack says, that fish was literally just sat on there. It didn't break the lead out. Didn't really do a great deal at all. He's now got the joy of unhooking it and stopping it from going into that puddle.
You're not getting out of there.
So first things first, get that top hook out of the way, just so you can't do yourself a mischief. There we go. Now if I can find the eye of the hook, I can usually slide my fingers down the shank to the bend, pop, out she comes. Lovely little thing. Loads of these about in the channel as well the last couple of years, but very small. But welcome all the same. Let's get her back. Beautiful. Well, they say all good things have to come to an end, and we're just coming to the end of today's guided session here on the Bristol Channel coast. So Jack's landed himself a couple of thornback rays and a codling. He also had a really nice bite fishing in close that he missed, but that's what's going to happen sometimes. I hope today's given you a bit of an insight into the kind of fishing you can expect when you come for a guided session with me. Obviously today I've been filming at the same time, so things have been slightly compromised perhaps on the fish front, but Jack's absolutely fine with that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. It's time for us to get on back. Please leave some feedback if you feel that way inclined, and I'll catch you next time.